What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to Mile Higher Podcast, episode 75. We are 3/4 of the way to 100 episodes, guys. How does it feel, everyone?
Very good. Very
Isn't
good.
that crazy? That's a lot of time.
Yeah, and about an hour each or more, some 2 hours.
Yes, some really long ones. Today is going to be one of the most chill episodes we probably ever do, if not the chillest. We're literally going to call this a chill cast because Mercury retrograde hit us really, really hard.
Oh,
and we're going through some stuff in our personal lives and we've like no time to do literally anything. So it's a miracle we're even doing a podcast right now, and we thought it was better to do something than nothing. So we're doing a chill cast today where we have gotten questions from you guys from our Instagram account in voice memo form. And we've picked questions that we thought were interesting. And today we're going to just really casually answer them and just kind of talk and, kind of switch it up since we've had some really serious and long, intensive episodes in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a good episode for you guys to get to know us a little bit better. And just maybe I'm sure somebody's going to ask a question that you've probably been wondering yourself, and you're like, oh, thank you for asking that. Because, I've always wanted to ask them that myself. So hopefully, you hear some really interesting shit come out of our mouths today about some interesting questions. Before we jump into all of that, first I want to thank our sponsors for today, which are Candid, HelloFresh, Stamps.com, and Upstart. Thank you guys. And then
and we also want to say thank you to everyone who came out and saw us at RTX Festival this last weekend. We had such a great time. Thank you to everyone who's at our first live show. I'm not sure if we will have already posted at this point, but we will be posting the video we hopefully will if we are able to get a hold of it. We'll post it for you guys.
Yes.
So you can see our first live performance. I think it went really well, and we're hoping to, do more shows in the future at our own gigs, not just at a convention.
Yeah, our own show, man.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. And if you want to check out like a little bit of footage from it and some behind the scenes looks at our weekend, check out our latest vlog, right?
Yes, I actually did just post the vlog, and I have about a minute of the podcast in there if you want to see some.
Yeah.
For sure. But let's fill you guys in on what's going on in our lives, because I said on Instagram that our life has turned into a shit show in like 24 hours, and a bunch of you guys were like, what's going on?
Oh my God. You guys have no idea just like the amount of stress I'm feeling right now. It's crazy.
I know. It's been really chaotic. We're trying our best. But so basically, I think this timeline honestly starts when we rescued our rabbit.
Yeah, it really does, which is hilarious that our rabbit has defined our, next chapter in life pretty much.
For sure, definitely. Like crazy. It has been a wild journey. So basically we had 2 pet rabbits earlier. We bought them last year. They're 2 Holland Lops, and we love them so much that we got so into rabbits, and we started getting into researching them, and we found a breed of rabbit called Flemish Giants, and they're really, really friendly. They're kind of like dogs. They can free roam, and we wanted one really bad to add to our little duo and have a little trio. That was the idea. So we found this Flemish Giant on rescueme.org, and she was with a foster at the time. And when we got her, we thought she was just a normal rabbit. She hadn't been spayed yet because they were waiting until she was 6 months because it's like better for rabbits or something.
Right, yeah.
So our plan was to just combine the 3 once we had spayed her. So she was living in a separate room in our house. We had 2 rooms set up with our 2 rabbits and then the big one. Then
multiple bedrooms are being taken over by rabbits at this point.
Exactly. So then fast forward to 4/20, 2 weeks later. And I'm sure you guys can imagine what we were doing all day on 4/20. Mm-hmm. We had a nice day,
Rocky
a long
Mountain
day.
High,
Yeah, we were having
Colorado.
We were, celebrating our rights and our freedoms as Colorado citizens. And then at the end of the day, I randomly wanted to go in and play with my bunny. So it was like midnight, and I went into her room by myself. And I was just petting her and chilling, and she seemed completely fine. I didn't even realize. And then I got the random urge to start vacuuming. So I was vacuuming her room, and I picked up this like cardboard container that she had that she like hides in, because we just had one for the spare time that she was in this room. And there were 8 little, they almost looked like worms at the time. They looked like hairless mice, like baby rats squirming on the floor, 8 of them. And we had no idea that she was pregnant. Obviously, it wasn't our fault. She got pregnant before we got her. We only had her for 2 weeks. And so we went from 3 bunnies to 11 in 24 hours. It was absolutely insane. So we had to adjust to that. We've had to complete, oh my gosh, so many different things. You guys don't even want to hear all the different things about the bunnies. But we basically decided that we probably need to move. And then, we started talking about moving with the bunnies and everything like that. And then we started having issues with people online, like leaking our address. I'm just going to say it. At this point, I don't even give a fuck. We got doxxed, basically. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know what that means, but people started, someone out there, some jerk, whoever you are, thanks a fucking lot, started commenting our address on a bunch of shit. Like comments on Twitter, Instagram.
Bastard.
Yeah. And like I have not severe anxiety. I have anxiety though, especially about this type of stuff. And it really, really freaked me out. Like it was horrible. So we decided that we wanted to move to somewhere that was more private because right now we live on like a main street. Yeah. There's no privacy whatsoever.
None.
And our address was out there. And now we have steps we're going to take to like prevent that from happening the next time. So we decided to move. We find this house. Why don't you take over from now? Now I feel like I'm just going in circles.
No, you're fine. I mean, bottom line is that we want more privacy, and also our rabbit situation really put a cramp on our studio space. Because we ended up moving him down here, and probably would have eventually anyway if we had stayed in this house. So it really like it's hard to have an actual studio. I'm sure you guys have heard like little feet like running around in the background sometimes, and that's because like the bunnies will just randomly start to run around, or Bernie and the dogs will start walking around and stuff, and we have hard floor down here, so bad choice for a studio, by the way. But yeah, basically we just figured out that this wasn't going to work long term, and plus we have so many awesome guests like lined up to come on the show that are just really like will blow your mind, that they're even interested in sitting down with us. But so it's all these things together that we realized we want to move, and we figured out it was possible. So
and we wanted to get something with like some land and some privacy where we could build a studio on the land outside that wasn't actually part of our house. Yeah, right. So it wasn't like because we really do have so many animals. We need room for all of them. We have 16 animals. We have 3 cats, 11 rabbits, and 2 dogs. So it's a lot.
It is a lot.
And it's kind of weird to have our workspace like with all those animals. So it's going to be really nice having that separate.
Yeah. We're you bring a guest, be like, oh, don't mind my giant rabbit. Just step over her. Oh, that's poop. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yes.
You got allergies?
It literally smells like a legit zoo in our studio right now. Like Janelle can testify. Janelle's here. And by the way, she has a mic, so you're going to hear her in this episode. Say what's up.
It is a zoo, people.
It is. It literally smells.
It smells like a dang zoo, and it's gone upstairs.
Dude, has it?
I walked in, I was like,
no, it's going through the vents and stuff.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad right now.
It's because we have so many. We are like finding homes for all the rabbits. We're only keeping 2 of the babies, but it's like absolute madness around here. Okay. So then here's how this was going to work. We sell our house. We found this great family, out of state family. So they wanted to move in a little bit earlier. We originally talked about the 23rd, and that was going to work for us. We were going to be able to move into our new house, but they requested to come in 10 days early. And we were like, sure, that's great. And our real estate agent was like, yeah, sounds good, guys. That looks good to us. So we changed it to the 13th, which is at the point that you see this podcast, it's going to be after the 13th. So this is going to be confusing.
Yeah, you don't even need to give dates. Just give the general.
Yeah, whatever. We were supposed to move on a Friday. We were supposed to close, and we were supposed to close on this house and our new house on the same day.
Which is hard to pull. Like, it is hard to pull that off.
Yes.
Especially on a Friday. It's almost impossible.
So anyway, we're at the airport the other night coming home from RTX Festival Monday night. And we, at this point, have 4 days. We're supposed to be moving in 4 days. And our lender basically calls us and is like, this is not going to happen. You're not going to close. And so Josh and I, this is our first time. So we thought, we'll just delay.
Buying a house.
Well, yeah, that's true. But our first time selling a house.
Yeah.
So we were like, we thought we could just tell the people like, we need more time, or delay the closing of this house, or cancel it or something. But you can't. Like, there's nothing you can do. So basically, as we were getting on a flight, I found out, which I already have flight anxiety, so I was a mess about that. And I found out that we were about to be like homeless in 4 days with 16 animals, and we had nowhere to go. And like, neither of my parents had a good situation. Josh's parents live out of state. Like, there was nowhere for us to go. And we looked at rentals, and it was just insanity. I mean, where are you going to bring
who's
that
gonna
many
let
pets?
You bring that? Nobody
like,
is.
It's just, we were put into a horrible situation. And so luckily, my dad, I am able to go in with him, and we are going to be moving in with him temporarily. It might even just be like 2-3 days. It could be a week. We don't know at this point. So we're trying to pre-record, and we're going to be without a studio space for like a week. And
Yeah, we're just packing last minute. So that's why we're not having an actual like main topic for today.
Yeah.
Like a normal
We
episode.
just didn't have any time to get it together.
No.
So, and you guys will see like in upcoming episodes, it'll be like a rigged, janky setup for a little while before we go
into the
into
green screen until the studio's built. We'll go back to our little green screen setup probably.
Yeah, that's probably what we're going to have to do. So we really appreciate all of the patience. We know we haven't always been uploading like exactly on time, and you know, we've just been so chaotic. And I've been uploading less on my channel too. I wanted to address that. I've just been, I mean, my health issues on top of all of this other shit is just, it's been a lot, and we're tired and exhausted and stressed, but we'll get through it. And, you know, you go through times like this in your life and people go, you know, and people are just fine. So we'll be fine. It's a lot of stress for sure.
Yeah, it is. But we'll get through it. And, you know, thank you all for the support and everything. You guys have been super understanding, and you know, we really appreciate it because, I mean, we don't want to stop making content or anything.
No,
so
we're trying not to.
We'd rather give you something than have nothing whatsoever. You know, plus this, you know, it's a good change for us to just casually talk and, you know, go a little bit deeper on some like just personal opinions and things like that with these questions and stuff from you guys. So that's awesome. So yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that? Or
no, I think that's pretty much it.
It's fucking crazy. It's chaos. We have animals running everywhere. Our studio is being invaded by rabbits.
And they're not just like little bunnies, you guys. No. These are like half Flemish giants. They're really big.
Yeah, they're already big. It's crazy.
I mean, they're like a cat or a dog. They're just as much work, if not more. And they poop a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hence why it smells.
Yeah. Good thing you guys can't smell it. Imagine that would be some trash. Like, oh God, their podcast stinks, you guys. Don't download it.
Literally.
Just kidding. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go into our prologue, our shit show life. Thanks, Mercury retrograde. It's been real. But let's go ahead and get into our woke news topics for the week. What's going on in the world?
This one is a crazy one. So a giant container ship, you know, the ships have got the big like metal containers on them. Well, one of these container ships, which is owned by JP Morgan, the company, was seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Philadelphia because basically they found $1 billion+ worth of cocaine on the vessel, which is insane. They literally found almost 40,000 pounds of cocaine on this ship that's owned by JP Morgan. So it's literally doing international drug smuggling through a ship owned by them, although it's not like, so it's not directly theirs.
Right.
But the shipping company they use, it's their ship. And so they arrested a bunch of crew members and stuff in connection with this.
So it's like with how much there was, though, was it possible for
them to know? Yeah, to not know. And because they started like doing inventory. They do inventories of all those ships for this very reason.
Yeah.
And they found like 7 containers that were just not looking normal. Something was really weird about them. And so they executed a warrant on it, and they found 40,000 pounds of cocaine valued at $1.3 billion.
Oh,
so this is like, this is like next level shit. This is like literally
that's a serious
supplying
drug trade.
all the streets of America, which makes this a conspiracy. Is JP Morgan supplying cocaine to America?
Honestly, probably. I wouldn't be shocked if the Morgans were up in that shit.
I don't know, man. It's crazy because
I mean, the government, the U.S. government, I mean, I think, and the elite are involved in the drug trade for sure.
Yeah.
You need to do an episode on that, but
yeah,
I mean, it feels like with that much that it would be really hard for them to not know.
Seriously, you would think there's somebody's job at JP Morgan and Company that's like monitoring their ships that are bringing whatever they're bringing anyway.
That's a large
What
amount.
are they shipping? What is JP Morgan shipping to?
I don't know.
Like this, what's weird about this ship is it went all over the world too. It literally stopped at all the hot spots for cocaine, like Colombia, Peru, Panama, Bahamas, like all these different places. So like the more rational thing is that this was just some people that work on the ship, some crew on the like within this shipping company that are doing drug smuggling, you know, some fucking Breaking Bad level shit.
Yeah.
Or actually it's way worse than Breaking Bad, but
yeah,
I just thought it was really interesting. And some of you guys are like, oh my God, JP Morgan ship with drugs on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, maybe there's something more there, or maybe it's just,
I mean, it also could just be an oversight.
Smuggling cocaine. But the other big, huge thing that happened this past week is these earthquakes in California.
Yeah, man. Wow. I mean,
I don't think anybody was expecting
huge.
this. Like,
yeah, but I'm so glad that it wasn't way worse. I feel like it could have been like absolutely devastating to California. Not that it wasn't bad, and we really feel for everyone that was, having to deal with this. It's just so scary. Even if you're okay, it's still scary to go through an earthquake, and people are feeling this even in Las Vegas.
The aftershocks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, but I feel like it could have been way worse.
Oh yeah. Well, it could have been the San Andreas fault, and it wasn't the San Andreas fault, which everybody, when you hear earthquake in California, you immediately go to the San Andreas fault because it's such a huge fault. It goes hundreds of miles. So if that thing splits and we're talking like a massive,
oh my gosh,
mega earthquake happening that could
I've seen the movie. I know.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is.
It's really crazy, actually. We should probably talk about that sometime. That and Yellowstone. Maybe they just tackle them both in one episode.
Natural apocalypse scenarios.
It's freaky though. That's for sure.
So there's actually a picture, which I'll put up for those watching, of a crack in the earth that was created by the 7.1 earthquake that hit on Friday, July 5th. The Searles Valley earthquake is what's being called, near Ridgecrest, California. And you can literally see where the earth was split open by this earthquake from space, which is just insane. So even though this was like, luckily nobody, got hurt or died from this, and there really wasn't too much damage because it's in a rural area, it could have been way worse. Like if even the 7.1 magnitude, if like the epicenter or the center of the quake hit in a populated area, it could have caused a ton of damage and, potentially lives lost, which is just crazy. So, good and bad with this thing, but it does make you wonder, is there going to be more? And even the seismologists were saying there could be another big one coming even after this. If this wasn't the main one, this could be like a precursor to a massive earthquake.
Do they think that at this point? Like, I thought it was supposed to be like in the first couple days is where there really could have been a possibility.
No, it's actually a lot larger window.
Really?
Since July 4th, there's been over 3,000 earthquakes in that region. So it's continuing to have earthquakes. They're just not as big. There are a lot of smaller quakes. But it is possible for there to be another just fucking massive quake out there on this fault because it's clearly in motion. So it's just kind of crazy. I mean, here in Colorado, we don't really have too many earthquakes. We do have some, but they're very small. But for the most part, we really don't have to deal with earthquakes. And I don't know, let us know out there if you were experiencing this quake in California, or if you've ever experienced an earthquake just in general and, where it was when it happened. Because I'm just curious, because they happen all over the world all of the time. But it's kind of rare for the U.S. to have such a big one.
Yeah.
Relatively close to a major city like Los Angeles. So
right. I think California, it was like, what, over 20 years, 30 years or something?
It's been a while. It's been over 20 years since the last big one. Yeah. It was like the 90s or something when the last one was. So we're lucky it was on this fault and not the San Andreas fault, basically. Was it the one that your mom was in, Janelle? Do you know? Her mom was in...
she was in Northridge,
which was very scary too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may have been the last big one. I remember they were talking about it the other night on the news.
I think it might have been, actually. Well, yeah, that one was a 7.1. So
yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
The last really big one.
But the epicenter of that was in, like, right. So that's why it was so
devastating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like, if you guys have ever been to a museum, which I hope you have. I used to go all the time. Like, my parents were like, the go-to was the museum in Oklahoma City. If you ever been to the Oklahoma City Museum of like natural history and science or whatever, they had an earthquake simulator there.
I've done one of those before in Florida.
I used to love to get in those because it's like, it's like shaking.
I've done that at Wonderworks in Florida.
And it like goes through the different magnitudes. Mm-hmm. You can go all the way up to like a 10 magnitude.
Was it a subway car? Was yours like a car? Like it was like a train car or something, like a box that you sat in and it showed you what it would be like. Yeah.
I just always thought that was funny.
Yep, Wonderworks had that.
And you know how like they'd have the like floor where like it would go like that, so you try to walk over it and be like,
and you have to like down. The bridge thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
I wonder what museum you went to.
It was Wonderworks in Florida.
Oh, Wonderworks. Okay.
Yeah, that's not really a museum. It's like more of a kids science-y type thing. Yeah. I guess it kind of is a museum, but it's for kids. Anyway.
Well, yes.
I'm sure some of you guys have actually lived through one instead of hearing about our experiences on the simulators.
At the museum.
I'm sure it's pretty scary. I'm sure a lot of you actually felt this last one or have lived through one.
Yeah, it's wild, man, because we're due for a big one.
I've never felt one. I've never experienced any type of natural disaster. The only thing I've ever came close was a small-ish hurricane that hit when I was at my grandma's.
Have you ever had to
Wait, didn't you? The one in Greeley, there was one up at UNC in college.
Yeah, but it wasn't a natural disaster.
No, but it was an earthquake. Didn't you experience it?
I didn't feel it. I wasn't even in town when that happened.
Because I was like, it shook the building.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing.
Oh, really? You felt it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've never felt an earthquake.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, I went to school at UNC up in Greeley, Colorado. Cowtown, baby. Both of us went there. Yeah, they had one, which was weird, but that's because there's like hella fracking going on up there, north in Colorado.
Which is just common, for earthquakes to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I've never experienced anything. I'm lucky. Never seen a tornado. Josh has experienced, hit under the mattress in his bathtub type of thing.
I've been like a mile or two away from one that was on the ground in front of me.
Yeah, because your dad was chasing it.
My dad was like trying to be a storm chaser in our fucking minivan, dude. I'm just thinking the whole time. I'm like, Dad, we don't even have a fast car. Like we're.
And your mom was like, turn around,
dude. My mom lost her shit. I'll never that day. I'll never forget because
your dad's just driving towards.
My dad was outside the car, on his little ham radio thing, listening to the NOAA weather, like tornado alert on the ground, seek cover, literally warning you to there's a tornado on the ground headed your way. And my dad's just standing out there looking at it. We're in the back seat looking out the windshield at this literally, it wasn't a huge tornado, but it was definitely a decent sized one.
Oh my
and my
gosh.
mom, I've never seen her more scared in my life. She literally was about to just stab my dad in the
I would have
and jump in the
gosh.
seat and push him out and take us off because she was terrified.
She's probably scared for her kids. Oh
my
my
dad's
gosh.
so cool. Yeah, that was a interesting moment.
Yeah, your Oklahoma days. Sounds like
Oklahoma's
you guys
crazy. If you live in
that.
Oklahoma, man, that's no joke. Or Tornado Alley, it's fucking crazy. Texas right now is getting tons of thunderstorms that are just crazy, like wind and tornadoes. It's just, it's scary stuff, man. It's really scary. We're lucky here.
It is.
But yeah, let's get into our questions from you guys and see what y'all want to know. Did you know your teeth move as you get older? I didn't until I noticed mine were starting to shift. I wanted to get my teeth fixed, but braces? No way I'm doing braces again. And that's when I heard about Candid, the clear alternative to braces, and I am all in. Candid has an orthodontist who is licensed in your state to create a treatment plan for you, and Candid only uses experienced orthodontists. They even create a 3-dimensional preview of what the final results are like. That's what Candid did for me. Super simple process, and again, they create a 3-dimensional view of what your mouth will look like after going through the Candid process. And now that I've approved my 3D preview, Candid is creating custom clear aligners that will be sent directly to me. That means no hassle of having to go into an orthodontist's office. Candid costs 65% less than braces. Yes, you heard that right. 65% less than braces. And you can save thousands of dollars and have straighter, brighter teeth in an average of just 6 months, guys. I'm super excited to get my clear aligners from Candid and begin to fix my teeth. You're one step away from getting straighter, brighter teeth too. Learn more at candidco.com/milehigher and use code milehigher to get $75 off. That's candidco.com/milehigher, code milehigher for $75 off. As most of us have found out the hard way, including myself, getting into debt is easy, but getting out is hard, especially if your FICO score isn't great. Sky-high interest rates can make it incredibly hard for you to break out of that revolving debt cycle. Thankfully, now there's Upstart.com, the revolutionary lending platform that offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high-interest credit card debt, which I know for me personally, if I had known about Upstart a few years ago, when I was still digging myself out of credit card debt, I would have most definitely went and gotten an Upstart loan because of that smarter interest rate. Because if you don't have great credit, then you get slammed with very high interest rates, which may even put you into debt more than you already are. What's great about Upstart is they go beyond your traditional FICO score or credit score when assessing your actual credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate, which is great. So they don't ding you on the credit part of the application. Upstart believes you're more than just a credit score. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in just a few minutes without affecting your credit score. The best part is that once the loan is approved, most people get their funds the very next business day, the next day, which is great. Over 200,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards, student loans, fund their wedding, or to make a large purchase. Free yourself from the burden of high interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked #1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/milehigher to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes and it won't affect your credit, which is the best part. That's upstart.com/milehigher.
His was the first one. DJ Jelly Bean.
Oh my Lord.
Hi guys, I'm Chloe. I'm from Vermont. I love all of your stuff. And I was just wondering how you guys have such a perfect relationship. Do you fight? What do you fight about? You guys seem perfect. I love your friendship. I love your love. I want it someday. Thanks. Bye.
Well, we do love each other, but that is not true. We do not have a perfect relationship in any
Nobody
way.
does. It's impossible.
I feel like people that try to say that their relationship is perfect are just are like
I've never even
working
heard
out,
somebody
actually.
be like, my relationship is perfect. I've never heard anybody say that ever.
Yeah, no, we definitely fight. Yeah, Janelle can testify to that. She just spent the weekend with us in a hotel room. So yeah, no, we fight.
But it's normal.
We've been together
stuff.
almost 10 years. Like,
yeah,
it'd be bizarre if we didn't fight at all. But
because we're fucking different people. We're different signs. Like we're gonna, there's things that are gonna, irk us about each other. But
what do you think we fight about the most?
What we want to fucking eat, probably. Like,
yeah,
that's
probably.
one of them.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not really that much. I mean, for the most part, we're on the same page. So I get like most of what you see is perfect in a sense because I feel like you're only seeing one part of our life and not like everything.
Right. Yeah. We fight a lot over like planning and organizing and like.
Yeah, you don't like my procrastination.
Yeah.
And I don't like your like bullheadedness sometimes.
Yeah.
Like your, I mean, we could go back
we
and forth.
We can both be
all day.
really controlling of each other.
Yeah.
We both have the tendency to control each other. So there's that. There's plenty of things. Oh my gosh.
It's definitely not perfect, but it is.
We do have a good relationship.
As perfect as it could be, for sure.
Oh. We love each other very much at the end of the day. Like, no matter what, we don't go to bed angry ever. That's one thing I can say about a relationship is we don't ever like go to sleep without working it out.
No, bad idea.
Yeah, that's not happening. Your ass will be up all night.
It only gets worse if you go that route. So
yeah. At the end of the day, we always kiss and make up. That's like always been our thing.
Yeah. And I mean, it's communication, right? That's what it comes down to. If you want a relationship, you want love, communicate with, the people that you want that with.
Right.
And try to be on the same page as much as you can. And then if you're not, try to figure out a way to compromise and make it work,
Right. And pick your battles. That's the biggest thing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
What things can you let go? What things, if you fight over every little thing, it can end up destroying you in the end. I think there's plenty of things I've learned to like hold my tongue about that drive me nuts.
I can already like think of a list in my head of things that I do that you're like so fucking annoying.
It's okay. You make up for it by being awesome.
Honestly, I think that's just a human connection. And I think that if you want to go deeper with this, I think it has to do with just the mere fact that this is how we're like programmed as humans. And if you look at any animal, they all squabble with each other at some point, and we're no different than any other animal or living creature. Like, there's always going to be, there's light and dark energy, this positive, negative energy. And it's the same thing with relationships.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's just got,
balance.
If it was just like, oh, sunshine and roses every day, you're not going to grow because the growth comes during those like hard times and when shit gets negative and, you start fighting. That's when you either grow and get better as a couple and stronger as a relationship, or you just start realizing like this ain't gonna fucking work. Like it's done.
Right.
That's the best way I can explain it. So
word. Agreed.
That was a good one.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
next question.
Yes.
Hey guys, my name is Bailey Toller. I'm from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but I go to school in Washington, D.C. So obviously we know that there are a lot of precursors to somebody becoming a serial killer, like abuse, neglect, bullying during childhood, stuff like that. But there are also a ton of people who grow up in those circumstances and grow to be completely normal. So I was wondering, what do you think it is that separates serial killers from normal everyday people despite growing up in similar circumstances? And also I was wondering more specifically, why do you think it is that women are far less likely to commit these violent crimes than men are?
Wow, that was an amazing question with so many layers to it.
And yes, you're so right that it's very uncommon for a serial killer to not have a fucked up past. Like even ones that look okay on the outside, there's a lot of them and you look a little deeper and there kind of was some shit.
There's something usually. There's something that defines the rest of their life. You know, there's either a moment or an experience.
But what about the people that are just born that way? Is that possible? How much of it is nature and how much of it is nurture? And luckily, we have a psychology grad student here in the building today to give us a little opinion. Maybe she's drinking water. I don't know. Putting her on the spot. I don't know. Do you have any opinion on that, Janelle, though, for real? Like,
well, we were talking about this earlier upstairs. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I personally actually haven't done enough research on this, so
right,
I don't know much about it. I don't know how much research there is out there. It'd be really interesting to see, actually. But I think it goes back to that, like, could you be born a serial killer or have a gene or tendencies, whatever you want to call it, but have the support in your family or in your life to, not act on them?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Like, could, one of us
suppress it and stuff?
Could one of us have that gene or something? But because we've had a fortunate enough
support.
life and have had support and been brought up correctly, what that's loosely defined, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like, does that help? I don't know. Or is it something like you were saying, Josh, that's more like, a moment or an experience or a period in their life that switches them? Yeah.
I think it's like, I think if you go back to the root of everything and you look at it, I think that, I personally believe that nobody comes out seeking to do evil upon another being. I believe that there's harmony in the universe and that we're
even the Grinch.
That we are.
Hey, the Grinch turned out to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I think at the core of,
but he came down as an evil little baby.
It's true. But again, with him, it's an experience that triggered, like if we want to analyze the Grinch for a second.
Yeah, he was bullied.
He had a shitty experience. He was a happy little dude until these fucks came along and they're like, "You're green, shave your beard," and then it fucked him up. and then he like totally went off the rails and wanted to murder everybody. It's like,
we just wanted to get it with Martha Maid. And she was like, then what's his face? The mayor was like, Mr. Grinch.
Yeah. And then he gave him the razor at the big event, scarred his ass. And then he like killed everyone pretty much. He lit everything on fire. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't kill everyone, but he stole the Christmas tree and he went crazy.
Yeah, he fucking freaked out because
How did we get on the Grinch? It's fucking July.
I know, Jesus.
It just shows
Christ.
how like our minds are just complete.
And how much of fans we are of it.
Actually, though, we are. All three of us at this table are major live action Grinch fans.
Jim Carrey Grinch is what we're referring to.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't okay with that last one. I saw the last animated one. I saw it live. I was like angry. I was angry leaving. I felt offended. Like, it was fucking bad. Okay.
But anyway, back to fucking serial killers, not the Grinch. We're analyzing serial killers like Ted Bundy. Fucking.
Someone's like, okay, I'm finally done. I'm unsubscribing
They're
now.
like, these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about when they talk about these serial killers.
No, but for real, we don't. That's the thing is like, we don't. And no one really knows the exact reasons that people do what they do. Like, but I think it's like most of the time, though, there is something in their life.
Yeah. And like for those people that have a loving, supportive environment, you got to look at though that it could be something as subtle as just controlling parents. Like, some serial killers are born into like religious families where they're very supportive and loving, go to church, and then yet they're
your Bible.
Good one.
Have you not seen that Vine? Janelle just gave me such a judgmental look.
Because she was like, what
I wish you could see her. We're going to need to put a camera on Janelle.
Oh my God.
Her looks are so judgy.
Fuck, now you're making me lose my track of my thought. I was literally
okay, sorry. So if you're a good girl, you go to church and read your Bible.
No, I'm just saying that. Jesus fuck. I'm saying that it could. Here, you want my opinion? My opinion is I don't believe anybody comes out of the womb fucking evil and a serial killer. What I think happens is I think it could be a combination of DNA and what you're predisposed to mentally. I think there could be mental things there. And I think different people have different mental capacities, ability to deal with things. I think it all comes back to how your fucking brain works.
It's a combination
all of our
of
brains
both.
don't work. And then it's also your environment and who you're surrounded
It's the right
with.
combination. You have to have like the ability to go there, because I don't think everyone that goes through trauma or goes through a terrible situation or a horrible parent or something like that or is abused ends up a serial killer. Obviously not. Not everyone. I mean, so many people end up becoming motivational speakers and doing incredible things with their lives. Right. So I think it's a combination, like you said. I think it is somewhat in you. And if it's brought out, if it's the right person, you can just go that bad, you know?
Well, it's just, what do we know? If you think about it, it's wholly unnatural for us to want to like murder somebody else. Like, it's not, if you think about it,
but is it though? Because it is kind of like survival, like cavemen would like kill each other and shit.
Right. But that's not why anybody's fucking killing anybody out there, is for survival.
It's not a survival.
We don't have that same survival instinct. I think that left us a long time ago.
You think so?
I think it did.
Interesting.
I think the survival, like as far as, you don't think that's kill just in us? For maybe deep within, and something can bring it to the surface. But then again, I think there's a lot of people that just deal with these thoughts and feelings, and if that feeling arises that I want to kill something, then they find another way to deal with it versus acting on impulse
unless
and emotion.
You've been through some
things, unless something has pissed you off and made you angry. Because anger will literally fuel everything else. As soon as you're an angry individual, that's when your life starts going off the rails.
Yeah, anger is really like a secondary, or like a primary emotion
it's like
for all secondary emotions. Isn't that a thing? I remember learning that in a psych class.
Well, a lot of people say like behind all anger is fear or insecurities or
I thought behind every feeling is like anger about something.
Every feeling?
Well, anger is extremely broad.
Yeah.
It can be jealousy, it can be insecurity, it can be
true.
I don't know.
Which we all possess anger at some point, depending on what we experience. And
anger is a secondary emotion, though. That's what I was trying to say. That's what my therapist used to tell me, that there's a first thing that's making you angry, right? Okay.
Right, exactly.
I had that backwards.
So yeah, I think that's
an interesting one, though.
And I feel like we don't really know. It's not like there's been a ton of research on this, or somebody's really
enough good
into
examples.
This.
Like most killers. I mean, you look and they have
I bet you it's like 90+% killers have something traumatic happen in some point in their life that is the reason, driving factor behind why they're doing something.
Do what they do, yeah.
What's the number one meal kit in America right now? It is HelloFresh. HelloFresh is making home-cooked meals simpler than ever. From step-by-step recipes to pre-measured ingredients, you'll have everything you need to get a wow-worthy dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes, all sent right to your door. No going to the grocery store. Say goodbye to endless grocery store trips and takeout food. HelloFresh has got you covered. Every single week, there's 17 seasonal chef-curated recipes that are released. There's something for everyone, from family recipes to calorie smart and vegetarian, and fun menu series like Hall of Fame and craft burgers. HelloFresh has more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit, so you know you'll get something delicious. Add extra meals to your weekly order, as well as yummy sides like garlic bread and cookie dough. Easy to change your delivery days, so if you don't want it one week but you want the next, you can easily skip a week whenever you need to, as well as customize your food preferences. Seriously guys, HelloFresh meals are delicious, easy, and most of all, they're healthy. They always use the freshest ingredients sent right to your door. I've made a number of different meals with HelloFresh. Some of my favorites are the chicken fajitas. There's also awesome burgers in there if you're into that. There's all sorts of just absolutely mouth-watering delicious food that's super easy to make, so no more ordering delivery. You can make it right at home. Even better with HelloFresh. Right now, you can get $80 off your first month of HelloFresh. All you got to do is go to HelloFresh.com/milehigher80 and enter milehigher80. Again, for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/milehigher80. and enter code MILEHIGHER80. So if you're like me, you're pretty busy. I mean, I never have time to do all the errands that I need to do. And one of those things that I never seem to have time to do is go to the post office, just because of the time it takes to drive there and then wait in line and talk to somebody and finally drop off my packages. And because of the giant hassle of going to the post office and juggling all your packages, hoping not to drop and break anything, that's where stamps.com comes in. They are one of the most popular time-saving tools for small businesses. Stamps.com eliminates trips to the post office, as well as saving you money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office. So why would you go when you can save money and print your postage online? Whether you're a small office or a business like I am, where I'm sending packages to customers as well as, fans, things like that, it can be a lot to juggle. And, I have a ton of packages or Amazon returns, all of us people shopping online these days, you got to ship that stuff back. And instead of having to go there and go through all that hassle, you can print out the postage at a discounted rate, often online on your computer. And right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. All you got to do is go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and then type in Mile Higher. That's stamps.com. Click on the microphone and enter code Mile Higher to take advantage of that offer.
Hey, Kendall. Hey, Josh. It's Daniel. I'm from Florida. I'm one of your viewers. I love listening to your podcasts and stuff. My quick question for you guys is, when was the first time you started researching into conspiracy theories, and what was the one theory that not only captivated you, but inspired you to talk about them publicly and share your views and beliefs on them?
Okay. Well, can I start this?
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I think we've kind of discovered conspiracies at the same time together. Like it was all at once together.
Yeah.
And I was drinking the Kool-Aid hardcore for years before I finally kind of got woke a little bit. The first bit was a 9/11 documentary for me, because I turned it on thinking it was going to be a load of bullshit. And I would just laugh at it. And I would be like, look at what these nut jobs think. And then it was so compelling and just blew me away. I watched it multiple times. We watched it multiple times together. And that's when I started questioning everything. Because, I mean, obviously when you are questioning something as big as that, you think there's got to be more.
Well, it definitely sends you down the rabbit hole, right? And
definitely.
You start wondering, well, what else could they be covering up or, lying about? And that kind of leads you to other events that have actually happened where similar situations arise and
that are confirmed.
And things have been covered up and yeah, exactly. Bay of Pigs and all that. And you start realizing there are actual factual points operation. There's so many different types of government operations.
The fire in Germany, I can't remember the name, but that
literally, eventually get released, and then we realize they were lying the entire time. Even with UFOs, they've been denying UFOs for years and years and years, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, we have a program and everything. We love them." So it's
when do you
clearly,
think that was? I think it was probably 2015, around there, that we first started really getting into this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean,
aliens around 2016.
Yeah.
Right before we got married.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it's natural interest too, just in these types of topics.
I mean, we were more naturally interested in crime, though. We've always both been interested in criminal justice and crime, and have been interested in that since we met. So, but the conspiracy stuff, that came later.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think the biggest thing with conspiracies, right, is it causes you to ask questions. And when you start seeing that those questions don't have answers, or don't have good answers, or even answers that make any sense, that's what really just kind of triggers something in you. And you kind of have that, wake up moment where you're like, holy shit, what else is not what I was told in school or told by, the government or whatever it is. What else could be out there? Then that's when you start, you break into the world of conspiracies, and you start realizing why there are so many, because shit gets lied about and covered up all the time. So, what's really the truth about, everything, really?
I know.
It's crazy. So yeah, I think that's a good
I feel
answer.
like a lot of people started with 9/11. I find a lot of people.
It's a tough one, man.
Because it's just so, I think the reason that is because if you lived even during the time, even if you were young, I mean, I was in second grade, And it still impacted me so much, like left to the point where like I'd start hearing about it or see something about it and my heart would start racing. Like it was such a scary thing. And, you know, I remember my mom like buying water and thinking the world could be like ending and shit. It was really scary. And especially if you're like an adult at the time, that just, you are so angry that many people, it was so terrible and so mind-blowing. Exactly. Like I don't think anyone thought that could happen here.
Ever happen. Yeah.
So
and it did.
If you find out something like that could have been fake,
right?
Which at the end of the day, we don't know 100%. I don't think either of us believe 100 million% that is what happened. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. We need to talk about it on another day.
Yeah, no, we need to, at some point dig into it.
But there's enough that when you look at it, it pisses you off because you're like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And as an American or as just a person of the world, wherever you live, it makes you angry and it makes you want to know more.
And for the sake of the people that lost their lives is what makes me the most mad is that these families of these victims and people that were impacted by this tragic event, I feel don't have at least the full truth. Like it's so clear that they don't have the full truth about what happened. You can even go look at all the fucking reports that they put out on it. Yeah. A lot of it doesn't make sense. How they've been
being treated, the first responders. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that. Eric Swalwell just had to drop out of the Democratic nominations because his ass didn't show up for the meetings for 9/11. And his team was probably like, dude, you're fucked now. They're going to bring that up forever. It is so bad how little our government has shown for the victims, you know, especially when you think it could lead back to them.
Right. Well, that they're not doing it. I mean, I think it's a glaring sign that they're trying to sweep it under the rug and, you know, kind of like let it be lost in time sort of thing.
Keep pushing it off. Okay. And we just heard something very loud. Hang on, folks. All right.
Oh, good luck with this ass.
We're back. We had an escaped bunny. This is our bunny Clyde. And yes, his name is Clyde. And he ended up being the worst one. We didn't even know he was going to have all these behavioral problems.
He doesn't have behavior. He's being a rabbit. Make him sound like he's insane or something.
No, but he's Clyde. He's escapes. It's really funny that he's named after Bonnie and Clyde. And he's like escapes out of everything. But he's sweet. He's very nice. Someone needs to adopt
Someone take
Clyde.
Clyde from us, please.
He's just very smart. So he just escaped and I had to bring him in here. Anyway, he's going to sit, maybe.
Yes. And let's have another question.
All right, hit us again.
Hi, Josh and Kendall. My name's Megan. I'm from Ontario, Canada. And my question would probably be, what would be your advice to give your younger self?
Ooh, that's always a good one. What would you tell your younger self, Kendall? What would you tell young little Kenny?
You know what? If I would really tell myself anything, I would have told myself to stop worrying about boys so much. Seriously, like I spent a lot of time being like sad about boys that I like could have wasted. Like, you know, that's like the years where you're like single and shouldn't give a fuck and like just have fun with your friends and stuff. I wish I just like hung out with my friends more in high school and had less boyfriends. That were a waste of time. Yeah. Not that you were a waste of time, babe. You were the best one.
Thank you.
That's my high school advice.
What would I tell my younger self? Probably to manage my money better, honestly.
Yeah, you definitely could have used that advice. That would have been good. Hey, I tried to tell you.
No, I know. It's just, you know, I had a job and money and stuff. And
yeah, no. Josh got thrown into adult life at like 18.
Yeah. And when you get thrown in that early and with no guidance, it can be a rough road sometimes. And I mean, it didn't end up that bad for me or anything.
No. But be careful with credit cards, kids.
But yeah, just like, you know, you got to think about your future and, you know, your credit score.
Yeah.
Seriously.
True that.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Hi, I'm Danielle from the Wirral in England, and my question is, out of the 5 families that run the world, which do you think is the most powerful and most corrupt?
Ooh, that's an easy one.
I would say Rothschild. Is that what you would say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they clearly have the most control. It's hard for us to know, obviously, because we don't know the inner workings of these families. Don't know, but they seem to have their hands on the most shit.
Yeah, and you know,
and it goes back to them. Yeah,
and they go back the farthest as far as we know about them and their family. They started
that first bank.
Yeah, and they literally spread themselves throughout the planet. Like they spread Rothschild throughout the
their
planet
children
and took over the economies and stuff. So, you know, I think they're potentially the most influential because of the fact that we don't hear about them, you know, and they are very secretive about their wealth and what they're
very
doing.
Powerful.
You know, we hear more about like the Morgans and, you know, the Rockefellers, even though, you know, they are kind of moving on to the next generation. But I would say the Rothschilds. And just because in England, I mean, they're very interwoven with the royal family there and control of England's money and the banking systems there. So yeah, the Rothschilds for sure.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm from Northern California. And my question to you guys is, if you can pick any serial killer to interview, who would you choose?
Any serial killer to interview?
Oh my gosh,
I don't know if I'd want to interview a serial
I don't
killer.
want to interview them. To interview them on the podcast,
ask them
it would be
why.
kind of interesting. Like, what if they were like straight up locked up and they couldn't hurt us? It would be kind of interesting to know. Probably Ted Bundy.
Teddy?
I think he'd be probably the most interesting to talk to. Everyone else would just scare the fuck out of me.
I don't know. I kind of
And he's not insane so much, you know? Like, he could at least kind of talk to you without just rambling and sounding
but how do you
nuts.
know not every word he's saying to you is a lie? At
Oh, it
least
totally could be, but at least he could like be coherent. Some of them are just insane
God.
and too scary. I don't know.
It's hard though too because there's so many like serial killers that are unnamed, you know, like the Zodiac killer. We still don't even know who the fuck
That would be a
was.
good guest, right?
Honestly,
That'd be interesting.
I would probably want to talk to the Golden State Killer. And
Honestly,
and
yeah.
I think he would be as terrible of a human he is.
because he got away with it for
It'd be
so
interesting
long.
to just like hear like I'm
30
sure he's
years.
had times in his life where he's had like holy shit, like freak out. Like it'd just be kind of interesting to hear
He started in what,
his
like
perspective.
I can't remember. You look up the year. I think it was like look up the first killing of. I think it was 73. I want to say, but he didn't get caught until
Years
like
and years, decades later.
27. Was it 2017 or 2018?
Decades later.
18. I think it was last May that they finally caught him. So insane.
Flew under the radar.
The book is so good, you guys. 75. Okay, yeah. So that's a long time that he was just living under the radar. I mean, they had him 3 different people too. Like they thought he was the East Area rapist, the something Visalia ransacker, and the something Night Stalker.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was like 3 serial killers in one. So he would be really interesting to talk to because he
just
committed a very wide range of crimes,
Yeah,
like
and
from
just
robberies to rapes to murders, at just everything.
And he had so many close calls with getting caught by police and stuff.
And he used to be a police officer.
Yeah. It'd just be, I think it would be totally interesting to hear.
Yeah, it would actually.
Just like some stories from him.
I agree with you. I take it back.
Fucked up
I'd rather
as
talk to him.
it is. You know,
Yeah.
it'd still be interesting. That'd be who
Very.
I'd pick, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Hi, Kendall and Josh. My name is Lindsay from Palmdale, California. And I just wanted to know, I myself am married and planning to have kids pretty soon. And totally get where you guys come from when you say you want to have kids, but at the same time kind of don't because of all the crazy stuff happening on this earth right now. So I just had a question, because my husband feels the same way. How can we keep positive and not let this interfere with our future?
Girl, you're asking the question that we all want to know. I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean, I think you have to think positive or you will go into a negative tailspin. And you also have to think about, I think pretty much forever people have been afraid of like the world ending.
Right.
And, you know, people have always been afraid of stuff. My mom said they were afraid of like the 2000, like going to the millennial was so scary. And I mean, we're probably right about a lot of stuff. It is pretty bad. Shit's really bad right now, but
well, I mean, it's
we don't
totally
know.
different though. If you think about it.
I know it is totally different. And
'Cause
we are
we're
very
literally-
concerned about us having kids, like we for sure. But I think I'll still have kids because who knows? Like maybe it will be fine. Or maybe your kid's going to be the one that like saves the planet.
True. And we don't know enough to base such a big decision off, you know, really that much. Because,
But
at
it's
any point in
terrifying.
time, things could turn around to some extent. But at this, I get it. Like the climate stuff is crazy and it's happening. It's literally happening right now. And our planet is going to be forever changed. But are we going to be able to manage whatever damage we've done and start reversing it, or just figure out an alternative way to live, whether that's in space or underwater or, you know, somewhere else? So I think it's tough. It's definitely tough because sometimes I'm like, God, I don't want to bring anybody else into this shitstorm. Like
I think
every
about
day
that
is just
too.
crazy. Like
We're still
and
not
it's-
completely decided, but I don't know. We're going to have kids.
But I think also like I feel better probably than Well, I don't know actually, because if you don't, how can you be scared of what you don't know about? Like a lot of people live just blocking all that out in their little bubbles, and life is good, and
and they don't.
Kids are great and whatever. But like once you know actually what's going on in our world and how crazy everything is, it does make it a bit more nerve wracking. But honestly, I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I think it comes back to your beliefs and what you believe, and I think there's something so much more at play here. And what's another soul coming into the planet? I mean, we're all going to end up in the same place one day, wherever that may be. So, what difference does it really make? Plus, fuck, this could be a simulation. So who knows? Maybe there's some type of creator or God or something at play that's controlling things. Who knows? I don't know.
Hey, Kendall and Josh, huge fan here from Pittsburgh, PA. My name's Rachel, and my question for you is if you have heard of the smiley face killer. It's a huge case that happened here in Pittsburgh. He's believed to be a serial killer that preys on young men, which is kind of different than a lot of serial killers you hear of. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that, and if you've ever heard of it, and some potential theories. Thanks. Love you guys.
So I actually have heard of the smiley face killers. I don't know too much about it where I could just like I even thought that there was a theory that there was multiple. I hope I'm thinking of the right thing, but I did cover a case. It was one of my first cases. I can't even remember his name.
Well, one of the theories is that there's a group of serial killers or killers.
The smiley face killers.
Under the smiley face.
Which is what I think. And I think if I remember right, they drown all their victims. They they're drownings, and then they leave a smiley face somewhere.
Yeah, near the locations of where
we can do an episode on that. It's really interesting. It's really creepy. I covered a case about a man. My gosh, it's like McCabe.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me if there's like some sort of underground, gang of killers that go by a certain type of, sign or something. There's hackers that under anonymous and various groups.
Honestly, supplies there's not like more killing gangs.
Yeah, I am scary too. It's creepy to think about that they could all be like connected in multiple states and stuff. Because I'm pretty sure that case stretches across different states and stuff. So yeah, it's really crazy though. We should definitely cover it. In depth,
we should. Maybe we'll do that one pretty soon. Once we're not so crazy and we can actually do some research.
Definitely.
So I'm literally sitting at the Atlantic Ocean over the coast of the Outer Banks of North Carolina, staring at the ocean. So my question is about underwater aliens. Where are they suspected to be? I know that's kind of a weird topic, but we hear about the UFOs and everything, but I'm just curious what your thoughts and takes are on underwater alien creatures and where they are expected to be around here.
So first of all, I think he submitted this question before we even posted our ocean episode, which is funny because it was like hours before we posted that episode.
Oh, really? Oh, well, he's going to get his answer in there for sure.
But obviously, we don't really know.
They're definitely at the Outer Banks, though. If they're anywhere, they're off the coast of the Outer Banks.
The Outer Banks are beautiful. We've been to the Outer Banks, by the way.
I love the Outer Banks, yeah.
Oh, just listening to your voice message just made me so jealous. I would love to go to the beach.
But my couple theories are, one, a lot of people believe, in the area of the Bermuda Triangle, there could be some sort of underwater civilization down there that has something to do or abducting the planes and boats out of the air in order to, run tests on humans and things like that, kind of abducting people that way.
Yeah.
There's also, theory that there's some type of underwater base off the coast of Malibu, California. There's some type of weird, could be natural structure underneath. It could just be a bunch of rock, or it could be some sort of like base or something. Some people believe there's aliens there. To be honest with you, I do not think that I don't know. I don't think that the aliens that are here are necessarily like underwater peeps. They're not like swimming or, living underwater, because they are able to manipulate space time so they can just jet out of here whenever they want.
But there's like theories that some of the like really crazy creatures that are underwater could be aliens.
Oh, just straight up
just
extraterrestrials.
Maybe not like evolved, super highly evolved species, but like
super intelligent,
out of this world. Like maybe came in on a comet. Like, some of them are crazy.
It's very it's true.
You guys have seen the footage from last week. Some of the like from the oil tank and stuff.
There's some weird stuff down there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
we don't know what they are though.
Impossible to say if there is or not, but could be.
They might be swimming in the Outer Banks though, so be careful.
Hey guys, my name is Jaden and I'm from Kansas. You both seem to believe in reincarnation, so I was wondering if you think that all souls are reincarnated? Do you think only some are? Do you think they choose to be reincarnated? What do you guys think about that?
So, I mean, I really don't like commit to any certain version of it. Like, I don't have a very like, this is what I believe happens, but I have read different explanations from like various, pagan, Wiccan material, things like that. Actually, Janelle gave me this great book. It's a really good like starter book for this type of stuff. What is that called? The Wikipedia. Yeah. The Wikipedia. It's really cool, and they have a whole section on this and reincarnation, I believe. I think I read it in there, but I remember reading something about. I think we've talked in our reincarnation episode about how it's possible that souls actually are able to decide what they're going to do next, whether they take time off and they go in like the spiritual realm. And they're just spirits, or they like enter another life. There's people that believe that, souls get to plan their next life or even work with other souls. Like, okay, in this life, we're going to meet up. You're going to be my dad and you're going to abandon me to teach me a lesson. Like things like that. I think that's very interesting to think about.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, I've kind of gone away from that a little bit, and I kind of believe more in a term called the universal mind. Mm-hmm. And that we are all a part of this universal mind, and
like consciousness pool.
Yeah. Like somebody that believes this that I've listened to a lot of is Jim Carrey. He believes in this idea that
he does.
We are all one, and that there is no individual, there's no individual personality. Like literally
we're the same stream of consciousness being expressed by different beings.
Yes, exactly. So at the end of the day, we're all a part of the same thing.
But you're still kind of reincarnating you in a way.
True. Yeah, there's definitely that element there of being reborn in a sense.
Because the soul's never dying.
Physical sense, right.
The consciousness is never dying.
Right.
In that theory.
Right. That consciousness never dies even after death. It continues. It just is
a new body
manifested in a different way.
Reincarnation still.
Right. And again, I think there's obviously more layers to that. Like I think there's actual different planes of, or dimensions, or whatever you want to call it, to this reality. And I think your stream of consciousness travels through these different planes, from the time, because I'm a big believer in the paranormal and ghosts and things like that, and spirits being able to dwell in areas after passing.
Yeah, I believe in that too, sure.
I think you can kind of stick around for a bit if you want, or you can, kind of release, if you let yourself go and you're not tied to, I think it all also depends on how you go into death, right? It's interesting that a lot of ghosts and things like that had something happen to them, or, they did something to themselves, as opposed to somebody that's going into death peacefully, at peace with everying, and they just let go, because I think there's so many things in life where if you just let go, it makes things so much easier. But if you're fighting, or you're fighting to the end, I feel like there's a possibility that you might deal with that situation after you're gone, and before you're able to move on, or there's something else you need to do, or get closure or something, before you can actually pass through and rejoin, everybody else or everything else.
Yeah, that's really interesting to think about. I think most people that believe in reincarnation really heavily believe that there is time in between reincarnating too.
Yeah.
That you don't just go directly and it's not like you die and then
lights back on and you're
But then again, this case that I recently covered on my channel,
could it happen?
It was like that. It was like the boy said he literally fell through a hole and like came out in a new life.
Which is crazy.
Who knows? I mean, none of us know. It's really interesting to think about. Mm-hmm. I could talk about what happens after you die all day.
It's like one of our favorite topics,
for sure. All right, hit us with the next one.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marr from Newfoundland, Canada, and I also have a chronic illness, an autoimmune disease. And this question is for Josh. I just want to know how he finds having a partner with it and how he deals with it, and yeah.
Okay. That's actually a very good question. Yeah, so it's definitely something that, luckily for me in this situation is, as long as I've known Kendall, I've known she's had health issues. The chronic stuff is a lot more recent. But even when I first met her, she had PCOS and she had these different
PCOS.
PCOS. Yeah, sorry.
PCOS. Not a lot of people call it PCOS. My mom called it that. That's why I call it that.
That's why I call it too. PCOS. So you had PCOS, you had anxiety, you had these different things. And
hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's disease.
Exactly. So pretty much from the day that I met her, it just was kind of a thing that I was aware of, and I was fine with it because obviously I love this individual. So it doesn't matter to me, like, and for me, it's like, it's part of the experience, and, it's worth it to deal with all these different things. And it's not like it's to the point where it's like completely just miserable for both of us all the time or anything like that. Like it's a very livable. There's people doing way worse. Yeah. It's definitely can be inconvenient. And sometimes it's hard, and I do get stressed out, and I do sometimes get frustrated, not with, sometimes it comes out as being frustrated with Kendall, but in reality, I'm more frustrated with the disease or the disorder, whatever it is that's ailing her.
Or lack of knowledge
or lack of answers. Just
we actually really think there's something else going on too, which we've talked about so many times. But
yeah, it's really crazy to think with all of this technological innovation, and we're so like everything's starting to feel so futuristic, yet like medicine, I feel like hasn't caught up to where it should be with how much technology we have and stuff. Yeah. It still feels very like antiquated to me. So that's where the frustration is with that. But yeah, I mean, it gets hard just like with anything else. And I know I'm a pain in the ass sometimes. And I think the biggest thing is you just got to remain positive and be supportive
and flexible
and realize that, they are not on the same level. Cause I'm super blessed and lucky that I have literally nothing wrong with me other than I think too much probably, but yeah, I mean, I'm really fortunate, and I grew up watching like my grandfather. He has taken care of his wife for 50 plus years now, who literally had a massive stroke when she was 21 years old or something, and it completely knocked her whole side of her body, one side of her body out, where she's literally handicapped to the point she has to be helped through every single thing.
Yep.
So that's given me a lot of inspiration.
She still went on to have 3 kids after that.
Yeah, which is just crazy and mind-blowing.
Can you imagine at 21 losing, your whole left side? Her arm's just been like hanging there her whole life.
Her leg and her arm,
and it's like really swollen because it's filled with fluid and stuff.
It's crazy.
And his grandpa is just so sweet.
Heart of gold, man.
It's inspiring for us for sure. Like we've talked about them a lot.
Yeah, and I like to feel like a piece of him is in me.
Yes,
and I get to kind of like carry on that, family tradition in a sense of just being a super supportive and caring person. So yeah, I mean, that's how I get through.
Hey guys, this is Paige. I'm also from Denver, and I was wondering if you have been following the Kelsey Shelling case at all, as it's based in Colorado, and if so, I know the trial got pushed back to January of 2020, so will you be following that as well? Thanks.
Hey. I just acted as if I was just responding to her, like recording a voice message back. Hey, so actually, okay, we'll cut that. So actually, I have known about that case since before I even started talking about true crime on my channel, just because I live here, so I've heard about it. And I've wanted to cover it like in person forever. That's why I've never covered it on my channel, because I was like, I should actually drive to Pueblo and even just film like some of the locations. Like the main location would probably be the Walmart parking lot for this case. And I was like, it would just be cool to film down there. And then I finally contacted her mom recently to see if she would want to work with me on a video in person together. And she was super, super nice. She just said right now they can't because of the trial. They're like going through this and it was delayed, like you just said. So you will see content from me about it eventually. She did say she wanted to work with me after when they're able to. But that's a terribly sad case and it makes me very angry. And I will be following the trial in January.
Hey, Mile Higher Podcast, Bree from Ohio here. Just curious if you guys know your MBTI types and if you've ever looked into that.
Yes, we do. I actually love all that stuff. I am an INFJ. Josh is an INTJ. INFJ, INTJ. So we're one letter off from each other, and it's so accurate. We're so extremely similar.
Yes.
So, yeah.
My name's Katie. I'm from Tennessee, and I was wondering if you guys would ever do a podcast on the Illuminati.
Yes, and we're actually going to do it eventually. We just haven't like had the time to like completely sit down and research it because it is a really complex topic.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a whole secret societies like mini series for sure because there's so much shit.
Yeah.
Hi, Kendall and Josh. My name's Montana, and I'm from Phoenix. My question is, what's your opinion on psychedelics, specifically DMT? I've heard a lot of people say that it's like a whole world when you take it, and there's a lot of reports of people seeing their loved ones or the same beings. I'm just curious to hear your thoughts.
So we are actually extremely interested by psychedelics. We've watched tons of documentaries and stuff on it. We have never done DMT. We're very curious about ayahuasca and the whole experience. We've seen people like Chelsea Handler even do ayahuasca in Peru. And
Vsauce did.
Yes. So it's very interesting. We have not experienced it yet, but I'm super fascinated in it because DMT is actually, I'm probably going to make this sound so wrong, but DMT as a molecule is released by your body when you die naturally, right?
Yeah.
This chemical.
Yeah, it's in your body already.
Yeah, it's already stored in us.
It's in all of nature
but
as well.
It releases when you die. So some people, it's possibility that people basically have a small DMT trip before they die, and that's what this euphoric feeling, because a lot of people describe having like euphoria when they die and feeling love, and that's what people describe on DMT as well. Some people also feel like they're dying. Like there's reports of people that take it and feel like they just died. So I don't know if I would ever do it just because it scares me. Like, am I supposed to have that chemical released without... Josh completely disagrees with me. He's very pro DMT.
Well,
I'm not against it. I'm just a little afraid of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would ever do it because I don't want, like, what if you're not supposed to have that? What if that is only supposed to happen when you are actually dying? Like, what if you're not supposed to experience that molecule until it's real? That scares me. And so, yeah, that's kind of my thing on it. But I'm so fascinated by it. I think if anything, I would rather do ayahuasca than just straight DMT.
And what about other psychedelics?
Oh, I'm interested in a lot of it. I mean, I think some, psychedelics in a lot of ways are like a magical gift almost to our planet, and that, what people experience on them is.
Well, I mean, it's not just about just about like, tripping, right? There's actual medical benefits to substances like psilocybin, things like that.
Which we've talked about
for
before.
Depression and things like that.
We think it should be legalized.
And it's a mind-opening substance, just like, marijuana is. And just to a different level, to the point where, it could really allow you to look at yourself and, check your ego at the door and really figure out who you are as a human. I mean, it can be a tool if you use it right. And the same goes for DMT or dimethyltryptamine. Is what it is. And
if you think that these are blocked from us because the government cares so much about our health.
They're not killing anybody. At the end of the day, psychedelics, nobody's dying from psychedelics.
No, but they're dying from prescriptions and alcohol and cigarettes and all the other shit that's legal. So, yeah, that's kind of how we feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I was going to add to it was just, I think that it could, it all depends, psychedelics, it all depends on where you are, where you're at in life, and just,
yes, you have to be responsible with them.
You have to know what you're doing, and it's not just like a little party drug. You go, at least this is how I view it. It's not like just something for fun and let's go get fucked up, like alcohol or something. This is a legitimate tool that can be used to really get in touch with yourself and your spiritual side of life, and especially DMT. I mean, everything I've researched and read about it, it is definitely the most profound experience you can have as a human. And you can experience a near-death experience. I mean, you'll be completely fine, but you could have that. But also that
scares me.
Like she said, a lot of people report having meetings with entities. I've watched so many different testimonies of people after they take it, and
just
it's
that Vice
all
series.
There's so many. I mean, there's YouTubers that literally all they do is talk about trip experiences and stuff, and having experiences with aliens and different entities. So what's really happening? Are you, going?
Is it in your mind, or are you actually traveling?
Going somewhere else?
Yeah. Projecting, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, we can go into that in another episode.
Yeah, we should probably honestly end here. I have someone coming over. Actually, I don't want to explain all that.
We have time for.
No, dude, it's 9:00. She's coming in 30 minutes.
Okay, let's do one more.
Okay. All right. One more question.
Let's not end on that. Let's get one more.
Okay. Let's do one more question here. We're kind of running out of time.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm from Portugal, and I've wanted to know if you ever heard about the theory that the Egyptian pyramids were made to produce electricity into the air, like wireless electricity, and what you think about it.
Yeah, this is actually something we've talked about before.
Way long ago.
A while ago. We haven't done an Egypt episode in a while, so
you need to. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have done scientific studies on the pyramids, and they found that they can conduct electromagnetic energy through them.
Yeah, and there's these chambers in it that what else would they have been for other than flowing of energy? And then they're also covered in limestone, which was a way to keep energy within.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interesting.
And then if you look at the work of Tesla and things like that, you start seeing that wireless energy is a real thing, and there is some type of field which you can tap into. Mm-hmm. So is it possible the Egyptians and all the other civilizations that built pyramids built them because they were like power plants, like you said? So
and meanwhile, we're being controlled because we have to rely on everything.
We're
for
burning
other people.
Fossil fuels and stuff. So yeah, I think it's absolutely possible they were used for some type of power plant or energy.
I think so too. Well, good questions, you guys. That was a really interesting episode. I definitely think we should do another Chillcast again. Like, this was great. You guys came through with some really interesting stuff. I was surprised we were able to talk so long, honestly.
And such deep questions too. I love it. Like we had the same experience at our first live show. We got to
That's why we wanted to do this.
Do a little Q&A with you guys that were there. And it's just like, it's so clear and obvious that you guys are interested in the same things that we are and curious about all these mystical things in our world and universe. And
you're just like the same type of people as us. Like, that's what we realized at this first live thing, meeting so many of you. I mean, we've never met this many people at once, and we were really, really nervous, but the nerves just instantly went away from me once I was around you guys, because I could literally feel the energy of our followers, and it felt like the same. Like, we're on the same wavelength. There was like, I can tell they're like really down to earth, non-judgmental, woke people. And it's like so awesome to have fans who are the same as you in that way. Like, people we'd be friends with. I feel like we could have been friends with so many of you that we met this weekend. Shout out to all of you guys. Gosh, oh my gosh, so many names. Marlena and India X and something Y, and you guys are just awesome. We really enjoyed meeting you guys, and we do hope to tour in 2020. We've already talked about a couple different, test tour dates that we're going to do, and just look forward to it. We're going to, there's a lot more coming. So.
Yeah. And it's just fun because this feels like we're literally just chatting with you, and that's how it is when we meet a lot of you. It just feels like, we've known you all along, and just like, you guys get it. You get where we're coming from. And it's cool to find it's hard to find people that are like-minded sometimes. And especially, people out there that don't know anybody at all, this is it. Like, this is where you get that connection from. And so, yeah, it's super special, and, we love it, and can't wait to continue down the road with y'all. So, yeah,
definitely. So that's it for us today, you guys. Be sure to stay woke
and stay safe out there.
And we will see you next time.